Hello and welcome to LemsleySpeaks. In this episode I'm going to be presenting one of my poems called A Note on Creative Defiance, which I don't actually think is one of my best pieces of work, but the reason behind why I wrote it is very, very important in terms of the journey of the poet, and hopefully that might resonate with you. If you like this content, please hit like, please subscribe, and for more of my poetry you can follow me on Instagram at Lemsley Novels. But for right now, here's today's poem, A Note on Creative Defiance. I'm kinetically poetic, my pen is always on the move, ne'er running dry between the lines, for that's my bag, son, that's my groove. I'm elegantly eloquent, your old elephant lumbering slow. This ink is soaring eagle, seeing more than you can know. I'm audaciously loquacious, I speak, therefore I am. Form a line behind these lines, try catch this wisdom if you can. There are so many talented writers out there and budding poets who, because of fear and perfectionism, won't ever share their work, and I think that is a tragedy. All creative people, all artists, poets, musicians, sculptors, whatever, there's going to be a time in their process where they're going to have to overcome perfectionism and fear. Yeah. I was scared that people would reject my material, they would not like my poetry. You're a rubbish poet, why don't you go back home? If I ever see you in public, I'm going to throw a stone at you. But the question is, from whence does this fear come? All right? It doesn't come from the outside world. It doesn't come from other people. This fear was created entirely by me. In my head, I created a scary world where everybody hated my work and rejected me. And because of that, I stopped engaging with the world about which I am hugely passionate. Now, the second barrier you need to overcome is perfectionism. This can be absolutely crippling. All right, some people will say that having really high standards is a good thing because it leads to high quality outcomes, which is fine. But the problem is having high standards and perfectionism are two very, very different things. Principally because the idea of being perfect simply does not exist. So if you are stopping yourself from sharing your material because it isn't yet quite perfect enough, then stop it. You are shooting yourself in the foot. The Instagram poetry community is incredibly supportive and encouraging, and their feedback gave me confidence straight away, and that fear was nipped in the bud quick sharp. What about perfectionism? You've got to remember that art is subjective. You know, something that you're not sure about might absolutely knock the socks off someone else. It's just another reason why perfectionism is completely useless. Because if one person sees it as terrible, but another person sees it as the best thing in the world, then perfect cannot exist in that structure. So start posting, get your material out there, because once you overcome perfectionism, once you overcome fear, you're going to liberate yourself. And how does it feel to do that? It feels incredibly empowering. So let's take a closer look at my poem, A Note on Creative Defiance. As I said at the start of the video, I have never felt that this is, poetically speaking, my best piece of top quality work. But the reason I wrote it is very, very important. This was my statement of saying, I'm here. I am done with self-doubt. I am going to back myself, and I am here to stay, goddammit. I am going to do what I was meant to do. So with this piece, I big myself up. It's a scary thing to do. I felt embarrassed, I felt awkward, I was expecting loads of haters to completely shoot this down out of the sky when I posted it, but none of that happened. In this poem, I chose one simple technique to back myself. I mixed up the style of the language that I use. Let's have a look at how I do that. So I use quite formal sounding phrases with very tight rhyme. For instance, I'm elegantly eloquent and audaciously loquacious. So that sounds quite formal. I also use the archaic expression "ne," which is quite Shakespearean. And in a little nod to Descartes, I use the line "I speak, therefore I am," which sounds quite antiquated. I also use more contemporary, informal sounding language. "That's my bag, son, that's my groove," which I don't know, for me conjures up some kind of 1970s American street chic. So why have I mixed up these language styles? Well, this is my way of saying it doesn't matter how you want it, be it formal, informal, Shakespearean, hip-hop, old school, new school. I've got the skills to bring it, and I am going to bring it. Big up. I tried to keep this piece fast-paced and punchy with tight rhyme and a quick sense of rhythm so that it's over and done with in a flash, and the listener or reader might have to take a moment to think, oh, what just happened there? It's like a sucker punch. You may also have noticed that there's lots of animal imagery here in this poem. On one hand, personally as a poet, I am always drawn to the animal kingdom because I see so much more harmony, grace and positivity in the animal world than I do when we look at our mad, messed up human world and what we're doing to the planet. So I'm naturally drawn to animals, but equally the use of animals in poetry is a very simplistic linguistic device that will quickly signpost meaning for your readers or your listeners. Here I use old elephant, lumbering slow. It's a kind of, come on haters, bring it if you want. I contrast that with soaring eagle, majestic, powerful, and yeah, I'm talking about myself and my own skills, and maybe that sounds big-headed.
It's because it is big-headed.
That was the whole point of writing this piece. It's to back myself. This was the piece through which I liberated myself from the shackles of perfectionism and fear. When was the last time you properly backed yourself? Just as an exercise, just to see how it makes you feel. Give it a go. I challenge you in your next poem. Write a piece that says, I am talented. Write a piece that says, I am done with self-doubt and I am going to champion self-belief. No more perfectionism, no more fear. I'm going to be very interested to see how you get on. Drop me a comment, hit like, hit subscribe for more of my poetry. Check out the other videos here on YouTube. Check out my other recommendations of other fantastic poets, or hit me up and follow me on Instagram at Lemsley Novels. That's just about it for today. My next video, I'm going to be recommending the work of an exceptionally talented poet from the United States of America. But until then, much love.